What is going on? We are back and Black in the building. Man, shout out to everybody out there at the Corp Plantation, handling business, doing what they need to do to survive. Man, shout out to everybody out there, man. Roll call. Roll call. Man, shout out to everybody out there in Arizona, Miss Tiny Latanya. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to the homegirl, Johnny, Philly in the building, Erica, Florida, aka Florida in the building. Shout out to Vegas, all my siblings, Jerica, everybody there in Vegas. Shout out to everybody out here handling business. Shout out to everyone handling business. And we gotta send a shout out to my brother Dave from No Compromise, Jojo in the building, and my brother James Youngblood. I gotta get up with him, man, so I can start promoting his platform. It's really dope. So shout out to my brother James Youngblood, Texas in the building. And shout out to the homegirl, Melina, North Carolina, aka North Kakalaka. Shout out to her. Man, we got a very interesting one today. I was looking for some audio about Dexter Reed. That's why the title is Mental Health Protection. Do we have mental health protection? I'm talking about FBAs. Because we gonna get them today. Remember, I did a podcast about 3-4 years ago talking about how in the Breakfast Club, I was talking about mental health and mental sanity. Now we're gonna see if it works in FBA's favor. Let's get it. So we have Dexter Reed's family that are filing a lawsuit against the police department. So what I'm trying to do is find some audio to see exactly what we can get, because they're filing a civil rights lawsuit and a mental health lawsuit because he suffered from post-traumatic stress, along with a lot of mental disabilities that brother was suffering from. And he could have been going through a manic episode. He could have been shell-shocked. You don't know what's going on in somebody's mind if they're suffering from mental disabilities. And remember, I told y'all that y'all better stop playing with this shit. And when the dominant society be like, mental health, they mean for them. They don't mean for black folk. Because black folk, it doesn't apply to us. As my brother Dave from No Compromise always says, and I think it was in The Matter of Color, the book, a black man has no rights, a white man is bound to respect. So what they talk, see, we can't be jumping on the bus and riding on the coattail of the dominant society when they talk mental health. There's a reason why they saying that. It's to get their people off of these murder trials and get their people excused. This is not for black folk, even though this brother probably was suffering from some mental disabilities. Trust me, it is not easy growing up in the United States of America Incorporated and being a foundational black American. That shit is not easy. It's not fun at all. It's a lot of shit working against you. So here, let's see if we can get some footage, some audio footage.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afford.
Yeah, but we're not listening to no commercials. Sorry.
Good afternoon. In the 81-page lawsuit, attorneys for the family of Dexter Reed argue that Chicago police had no lawful reason to pull him over back in March, and then they say they used excessive force after that first shot was fired.
Yes.
Dexter Reed is not alive today because of the actions of these officers and the inactions of the city of Chicago.
Man.
The family filed the lawsuit today. No, nothing brings Dexter back. But this family doesn't want it to happen to yet another family in the city of Chicago.
We asked the city to examine their own policies and procedures, reacquaint themselves with the consent decree and the obligations that they vowed to abide by, and ultimately to ensure and put in safeguards that this does not continue to happen to our children and to our loved ones.
And that's the family attorney. That's a great statement too. Go and re-examine your policies, because we have them, but go and re-examine them and let us know, where did this come out that you just shoot a motherfucker 100 times? You don't need to shoot somebody 100 times. Stop.
The attorneys who filed the lawsuit on behalf of the family held a press conference in front of the 11th Police District headquarters this morning. Reed's parents and other family members were here as well. This is the same district the 5 tactical officers involved in the shooting work out of. They accused the city and police department of not following its own procedures and failing to comply with the federal consent decree put in place after the Laquan McDonald shooting.
Right. Remember Laquan McDonald, ladies and gentlemen? Remember Laquan McDonald? And wasn't that under your boy Rahm Emanuel, who was Obama's right-hand man during his campaigns? And Rahm Emanuel strategically and purposely hid the camera footage of Laquan McDonald being assassinated. And then another police officer, which was a whistleblower, said Laquan McDonald was not a threat, and that's why I didn't fire any shots at him, because he looked like he was having a mental episode, or maybe he was on some type of narcotic, but he could have been having a mental episode. You don't know. This is why I said, do we need mental health protection? And that's why that cop was found guilty, and they sent his punk ass to prison, because you wanted to shoot and kill him. You wanted to do it.
They also argue instead of de-escalating the situation after Reed was forced to pull over last March, they did the opposite by screaming commands with their guns drawn. The lawsuit also states the 26-year-old was living with physical and mental disabilities as well as PTSD, though attorneys wouldn't get into the details of that this morning. Police records show Reed was out on bond for a firearms charge and retail theft at the time of the shooting. Body camera video of the March traffic stop and shooting was released to the public a few weeks ago. It shows Reed in the driver's seat with 5 plainclothes officers rushing out of an unmarked car toward the 26-year-old. Copa says Reed was pulled over for a seatbelt violation. Copa also says Reed...
So clearly, let's get this straight. You pulling people over for a seatbelt violation, you're not worried about the safety of a foundational Black American getting into an accident and flying out of his car. You just use that tactic to pull him over because y'all wanted to kill him. Y'all wouldn't have shot that many times. Stop.
Fired first, hitting an officer in the arm. The head of COPA, however, wrote a letter to Police Superintendent Larry Snelling questioning the ability of the officers to see a seatbelt violation, partially due to the tinted glass on the car.
Exactly.
And questioned the 96.
So how did you see he had a seatbelt on? He got tinted windows. You didn't know what he had going on. Reasonable suspicion is why you pulled him over. Stop.
Rounds officers fired at Reed, including when he was on the ground. COPA's chief has also been doing media interviews since the release of the body cam footage, something the superintendent has called inappropriate while it is still being investigated. Those behind the lawsuit and Reed's family say not only was the traffic stop inappropriate, but also unlawful, and so was the amount of force used.
Yes.
He was going down the street, minding his business, and then at one point the officers just turned down the street and blocked him off. And so they never announced they were officers.
Yep.
They had hoodies.
So you could have been getting carjacked. And if you are suffering from a mental disability or a mental block or anything that would sway your opinion mentally because you're mentally impaired, what do you think is going to happen? If you have mental health issues, right? I'm talking about real mental health issues like this brother Dexter Reed may have had. We don't know. Those police officers don't know. And y'all run up on him in plain clothes with hoodies on. He thinks he's getting robbed. And he could have been in fear for his life for real. Y'all don't know what was going on in this young man's mind. Y'all don't know if he had mental health issues. Y'all don't know that. What black folks supposed to just walk around and say, yeah, I got mental health issues? Do we need to have a dog tag that says we got mental health issues? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, and then why would you run up on him in plain clothes? So y'all have been following him and just using anything to pull him over. That's what y'all were doing. Stop with the bullshit.
If it was me, I would be totally terrified.
Exactly.
What happened to Dexter is unacceptable, and I hope that these officers are held accountable for their actions. They need to be taken off the streets, locked up, and they should not be on the streets as a tactical team scaring anyone else.
Thank you.
Now, I did reach out to CPD this morning, but it does have a long-standing policy of not commenting on pending litigation. We're live in Lawndale. I'm Eric Rung, WGN News.
Yeah, y'all see, look, let me tell y'all something. Let's cut the music on. Let's have a discussion, y'all. Let's just have a quick one real quick. We're going to have a quick discussion. Now, let me ask y'all. Remember how I talked about Shawnee, Erica, James Youngblood, David? Remember I used to say that? I used to be like, we better be careful of, even though we do suffer from mental disabilities, I believe every foundational Black American, we suppress our mental health, because we got to do it. We got to handle business. We got to go to work. We got to do things. We got to be providers. We got to go to work. We got to pay bills. We got to pay power, gas, trash, sewer, all this bullshit. So we don't really have time to take the time to address our mental health issues. Because in the United States of America Incorporated, it's a rat race. They don't allot you the time. Oh, well, your job can give you, some mental health time and you go see a counselor or whatever. But when you do go see that counselor, it's not going to change how you're treated at the corporate plantation. Haven't y'all noticed that? It's not going to change how you're treated in life. You can be going to therapy all you want, but when these race soldiers pull your black ass over, they're not going to ask you, are you suffering from mental health? No, they're not going to ask you that. They're going to pull you over in plain clothes and run up on you with the motherfucking burner in their hand, and then it's going to freak you out, and you think you're getting carjacked and are about to get killed. And then when you fire, all of a sudden, we're police. Then they want to shoot the goddamn car 100 times. How do we not know Dexter Reed didn't know anything or have something on the police department? You don't know what was going on. Because that was an assassination. You don't shoot somebody 100 times. 100 times, y'all know he's dead. Y'all know he's dead. Then y'all had the nerve try to perform CPR on him. It's like, stop. Now, it's so funny that people always want to bring up black on black crime and all that crime in Chicago, right? But when you try to hold these race soldiers accountable, all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, he shot a police officer. How dare him? Y'all not there to protect and serve. Because if y'all was there, let me tell you something. If you was there to protect and serve, if that would have been a real black police officer that was trying to protect and serve, he'd have pulled that young man over and said, hey, man, you know why I stopped you? Man, where you going? Man, let me get your license registration. Hey, bro, you need to get this shit fixed. You need to get that done. And, man, take your ass home. Don't be riding around here like that. Because you already know what's going on over here. And that kid Dexter Reed probably been like, all right, officer, and he took his ass home. Let me tell you, real black police officers, they don't be tripping like that. That's why you notice it don't never be them shooting somebody. Because they know what it is. Like I said, man, I met with this black police officer. This was a couple of years ago. He was in a forum shop. He was assigned to guard the Apple store. And when I saw him, I started laughing, and he started laughing. I was laughing my ass off. He started laughing. And he's like, what up, man? I was like, man, I see they got you on here in the G14 class. But I talked to that brother probably for about 45 minutes. And we chopped it up, and he was just like, bro, they always put me. He's like, when they put me with the white officers, I'd be like, here we go. This is a true story. I don't need to make this up. He was like, here we go. He said, I be having to tell them, hey, y'all doing too much. He's like, I will pull over a black person, and I'll get out the car, and the black person kind of be at ease. And he'd be like, let me get your license registration. And I was like, the white cops be scared. He's like, the majority of them, they scared to death. He's like, that's why they don't need to be police officers. Because if you're scared, you're going to shoot out of fear, not out of aggression, not out of protection. You're going to shoot out of fear. And I said, oh, okay. He's like, yeah, man, that's just not what we do. And we had a great conversation, and it enlightened me on a lot of these police officers, in my personal opinion, are failures. They didn't make it in the Court Plantation world. They didn't make it in, just the real world, so they joined the police force. A lot of them, they couldn't get no women in high school and in college. So they go join the police force so they can feel like they're important. They got power. Some people do join to make a difference. Some people join because they ain't got no other options. It's like the army, and I get it. But that doesn't mean you abuse your authority. And damn, all y'all in plain clothes and do that. And I'm glad they're showing, because yet again, that young brother, Dexter Reed, he could have been suffering from post-traumatic stress. You don't know. What if he got carjacked before? You know what I'm saying? What if he got carjacked? What if some people ran up on him and pulled guns on him in plain clothes? And he could have not known who they were and was just trying to defend himself. We don't know that. We don't know that. But for them to pull him over and allegedly he shot first, y'all do not need to be shooting 100 times to kill nobody. It is not that deep. Y'all don't need to empty out your clip and then put another clip. It's like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Some of this stuff, that's why I'm glad that the family got some attorneys and get some bread. You need some type of absolution and retribution for this. Even though you can't replace his life, but damn, they need some type of compensation, because that was out of line. And why is it when the Dominant Society talks about mental health, it's all good? But when it's the black folk talking about it, it's like, shit, that nigga had no mental health. He was a threat. He was this, he was that. I remember this case I watched on Investigation Discovery. Dave remember me mentioning this, James Youngblood, all y'all do. It was this kid, I forgot his name, but he was his family had money, so he always he just was a fuck up. He was like a teenage fuck up, and his family had so much money. They would always get him out of jams. Well, he ended up hitting and killing somebody. So his defense was he suffers from affluenza. He's too affluent. He has too much money. So that has played a mental toll on him, and that's why he doesn't understand boundaries in the law of the land. That was his defense, and he's white. And then the mom still was trying to ship him out of the country, because that's how much money they had. He suffered from affluenza because he was like 16, and he was drunk driving and hit somebody, and he killed them. So it was like he suffers from affluenza. Man, what the fuck you mean? He's too affluent. Look it up. He's too affluent. They made that a defense. That's why I'm trying to tell everybody. When y'all start hearing the Dominant Society talk about mental health and all this, yeah, we suffer from mental health. Don't think that you don't. But let's see if they take your mental health issues as serious as they take theirs. Because their mental health issues is, I'm not getting a bonus for $10,000 this month. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm so stressed out. Black folk, I don't know how I'm gonna pay any of my bills this month. Any of them. And I got school clothes and food and groceries and shit to buy for these kids, and that's what we suffer from. I can't pay my car insurance, and if you're in Las Vegas, Nevada, don't pay your car insurance to see what the fuck they do to you. They suspend your license, and then you gotta go pay a $250 fine, get your license reinstated. Oh, it's cruel. It's beyond cruel. But yeah, that's why I wanted to talk about this today. I was having a conversation too with somebody, you know what I mean, about Joe Biden and Trump, and it was beautiful to hear. I know people might get upset. This person was just like, oh, I hate Trump, he's a racist and all that. And I said, yeah, but he's not going to win. I said, but Joe Biden's not going to win. Excuse me. And this person was like, oh, I'll deal with Trump all day. I said, there's a book called Vote Scam. You should go read it. I said, teach his own. It's theater. You know what I mean? And it was so funny because I'm at a place in my life where I've read enough literature and history on foundational Black Americans voting and what really has it gotten us to the point where it's like, I don't even get into it with anyone about it. For what? Let people have their own belief system. If you believe he's racist and you don't like him and all that, go ahead and do that. You know what my belief system is? I believe both parties are racist. I believe both parties are anti-Black racists. I believe both parties don't give a shit about foundation of Black Americans or Black Americans, period. I believe both parties need us to participate in this political, social experiment of us voting when really it doesn't even matter because they're going to do what they want to do anyway. Warren, why are you talking about this? Why is it at the Laquan McDonald are we revisiting this again? Where you just shoot a motherfucker 100 times. That's because the laws won't change. That's why you vote these people in so they can change these laws so it can benefit foundational Black Americans. The average person don't even know Joe Biden was the architect behind the 94 crime bill, along with Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. Why do you think Hillary Clinton ain't saying shit no more, don't give a fuck? Because it doesn't suit her anymore. She can't be the president. So she doesn't give a fuck. She doesn't care. That's why. She does not care. Look, politics ain't nothing but theater. That's all it is. It's theater and likability. You don't have to know anything about anything. Donald Trump proved that. I'm going to say what I know white people want to hear, and they're going to elect me. And they did. And they'll elect him again. Black folks, stay out of getting into arguments about who's the bigger racist. They are both anti-Black racists. They both don't like Black folk. Both parties don't like Black folk. And they don't give a fuck. So, let's just keep that in mind and have a different understanding. And go and research Dexter Reed's family and his attorneys and what they're suing for. And I hope and pray that the ancestors really do bring them some solace and help them throughout this journey, because this is very painful for them and very painful for the family and friends of Dexter Reed to even go through that. Very tumultuous, it's sad, and I believe that Dexter Reed probably had mental health issues, and I'm not talking about mental health issues like Look, let me tell you something. If you have post-traumatic stress and somebody run up on you with a gun, what the fuck you think somebody's gonna do? But I believe that the dominant society don't give a fuck about our mental health issues. And we do need mental health protection. They need to start, one out of every officer, one should be trained in mental health. You should be able to be like, back. He might have a mental health issue. Let's back this shit back. We don't need to be shooting people and then he got a mental health issue and then it falls back on us. See, police officers don't mind shooting because they're not going to be held accountable. They're beyond reproach. Once they are held accountable, it's going to be different. They're not going to be just so quick to shoot a motherfucker. I'm telling you. And this is what I mean by voting. Whether you vote for Trump or you vote for Joe Biden, they both anti-Black racists. It's just Trump is just going to tell you up front and blunt how he feels. Joe Biden's going to lie, act like he didn't create the 94 crime bill, even though Joe Biden don't even know what his name is, how old he is, or where he is. But sometimes Black folk will still vote for him because we are gluttonies for punishment. Don't get in arguments with people. Just let them get it off their chest and keep it moving. Straight up. Because you know how it go. It go like this. Let me tell you something. The more you argue with people, the more they're going to try to go out of their way to prove their point in their belief system. And as I gotten older and the books that I've read, I'm telling you, we had this conversation, I just was like, yeah, I feel you. I don't really trip off that. And she was like, I was like, yeah, I kind of don't. I don't really trip off that. And, I just do a little bit of reading and keep it moving. Your vote doesn't really count anyway. You don't know who the Electoral College people are. You don't know what they're doing and who they might vote for. Like, it's just a scam. And politics are a joke. Politics are so bad. Donald Trump won. Donald Trump don't know shit about politics, but he won. He won just off being himself. Because people know authenticity and people know where it's fake. They know that. And Donald Trump didn't give a fuck. He was saying how he felt and he didn't give a fuck. And I just feel like your boy Joe Biden is out of options. So they don't know what to do. You know what I mean? I'm glad the FBA has back and concentrated more on things that we need to know. But I'm going to tell you right now, if we're not establishing a system of justice, then what are you doing? Guilty, nigga. I'm out. Peace. Joe Biden.